Hey there guys, sKiiTs here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys quite a biased commentary about why Guild Wars 2 will be the best MMO. Now, I know this game isn't officially released, but we've seen a lot of gameplay, and the gameplay you can see on your screen right now is Guild Wars 2 gameplay, obviously. So, we've seen quite a lot of gameplay from Gamescom and PAX, so I do get an idea of what the game's going to be like, but I can't get the full kind of review of it. So, this is just going to be why it's going to be really good, and hopefully persuade you guys on why you should buy it. Even if you're COD fans, even if you're Minecraft fans, I hope this game will spark an interest to you. So, for starters, I'm going to be talking about the original Guild Wars because I feel as though that does have quite a big impact on this game. Obviously, if it wasn't for that game, this game wouldn't exist. So, the great thing about that game was that it had a storyline to it. Like, a lot of MMOs don't really have storylines to them. It's kind of just like you get a quest, you level up, and that's pretty much it. Well, the original Guild Wars kind of did have a storyline, but it was lacking a lot of things. And us as kind of critics, I guess you could say, the gamers kind of did kind of just tell our internet without verbally saying it, but we kind of showed to them that we wanted a more kind of MMO feeling game. And because the thing in that game was the level cap was level 20, so there wasn't much replay value. There was only one race you could choose, and that's the human, and there wasn't too much like there wasn't too many new things to do. It was a bit kind of still a bit it wasn't very diverse. So Guild Wars 2 have come up with this. It's been developed. It's been being developed for quite a long time now, and it's very anticipated. Hopefully it'll be released sometime at the end of this year, or maybe the start of next year. So let's just talk about Guild Wars 2 now. So there's 3 new professions that are being added to the game. That's the engineer, which actually has a gun, so that's really cool. That might spark some COD fans' interest. The guardian, which is kind of like a mystical warrior, I guess you could say, and the thief, which is kind of like a rogue or an assassin. And then there's obviously the original elementalist, warrior, ranger, and necromancer. So with all these different professions, which are kind of like classes, there's lots of diversity, lots of different skills you can use, lots of different ways you can go through the game. And obviously with all these new races that I'm about to mention, there's heaps of different things to do. It's very diverse. There's lots of things to do. It's very it's got a lot of replay value, this game. You can already tell just when I list the professions and the races that there's going to be a lot more diversity to this game and replay value. So that's really, really good. So the new races are Sylvari, Norn, Char, and Azura. Now, a lot of these races will sound familiar to you guys because they were in the original Guild Wars. The Char was actually the protagonist in the original Guild Wars. The Azura is a little kind of small, kind of gnome-looking thing, which was actually really intelligent race. The Norn, which is quite a big, mystical kind of like a creature. We don't know too much about it, even though it was in the original Guild Wars. And the Sylvari, which is kind of a mystical. We don't know much about that at all. They're brought up in a kind of a plant kind of area. We don't know too much about them, but what I'm saying here is there's lots of new professions and new races that you can choose from. So every new race has a specific starting area which you can quest and get different missions from. But don't get fooled. It's not just questing and missions. I'll get into the gameplay a bit later on, but it's not just questing and missions. There's a lot more to this game. So there's lots more diversity to this game, and hopefully these new races and professions will help make this game, a lot of replay value and a really long-lasting MMO. So the next thing this game is adding is the ability to jump. Now, you're probably thinking, what? Shouldn't every MMO have it? Well, the original Guild Wars did not have jumping. That was quite a big flaw in that game because for some reason, jumping is actually it's a tactical thing to do in Guild Wars 2 at least, because in PvP you can jump to avoid attacks and stuff like that. You can jump to just jump. Jumping is a good thing, and I'm glad they're bringing jumping into it. It kind of makes you feel more into the game. I know it's a little aspect and it's just jumping, but I'm happy that they brought that back in. The next thing is they've increased the level cap to, I think, level 80. I'm not completely sure about that, but that's really good because it means there's a lot of time where you can be leveling up instead of having the storyline like in the original Guild Wars. It's going to be much more of an MMO, so lots of levels to go through, so that's really good. Now let's talk about the visuals. So the original Guild Wars was a pretty stunning looking game at its time. It's kind of gotten outdated now, obviously, but now these graphics look really, really good. A big problem with a lot of MMOs, such as World of Warcraft, is that the graphics are really outdated. Even though they did do a patch on the Cataclysm, the graphics are still kind of lacking something, very cartoony. And these Guild Wars looks very original and, sorry, not original. I don't know why I said original. They look very kind of just beautiful, and the art is really well well done. You can see some of the videos. The art is really well done. It looks really good. So I'm looking forward to having just the graphical component to this game. So next thing I want to talk about is the combat and the gameplay. Now, this is obviously quite a big feature in any MMO, and it's just something that World of Warcraft to me was lacking. I know I keep on bringing WoW back into it, but it is definitely a game you can compare to WoW. I mean, to Guild Wars 2. So yeah, the combat. So the combat is completely different to most MMOs. By that I mean, it's actually tactical. It's not just, you can just hold down auto attack and he'll just keep on sitting there attacking. You actually have to roll, dodge, parry, and I said jump before, maybe even jump, I'm not sure about that, but you can actually parry and dodge the enemy instead of just sitting there clicking 1, 2, 3, doing your specific skill set. So lots of diversity in the combat. I'm really looking forward to that tactical component. Hopefully that'll make PvP really fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to PvP. Next awesome thing about the combat is the fact that you can actually go underwater. Now, it's kind of a weird thing to think of, but in this game, there's a whole new set of skills you can use when you're underwater. You can use a whole, as I said, whole new different set of gear and weapons and stuff like that when you're underwater, because there is a lot of underwater combat. So I'm definitely looking forward to the underwater aspect of this game, so it's going to be really cool. Something new, that's for sure. And the next thing that's really awesome about the combat, I'm not sure if this will apply in PvP, I kind of hope it doesn't, is that when you die, you actually kind of go into a second chance. So you won't necessarily die, you'll just sit there for a little bit, and you can kind of just have a little chance to regain your strength or kill the enemy attacking you. And if you successfully do that, you can walk out of it alive, because there's nothing worse than dying in PvE when you're just playing against some, NPCs. It's kind of annoying, and you have to go back to your body. It just wastes some time. So I'm really glad they've added that into the game. It'll definitely make the game, much more fun and interesting for us, so that when you die, you don't necessarily, oh, that's it, I have to go back to my body. Now you get a last chance for it, and as I said, I kind of don't want that to be in PvP, but we'll see. Now, this is the thing I'm pretty much looking forward to one of the most, and this is dynamic events. Now, in World of Warcraft and in a lot of MMOs, you pretty much just get quests, and those quests tell you to go somewhere or kill something, and then you hand it back in. Well, with Guild Wars 2, you don't really need to do that. You can just walk around the world, and you can find dynamic events, and they are events that are kind of just happening randomly at any time, where someone just ambushes a city or something, and you have to come in and defend them, and you will get XP for it. For example, there's a little video, I don't know if I'll be showing it right now, because it's kind of hard to sync, but of where you come across a town that's being ambushed by pirates, and you have to defend them, and when you do, you get rewards and stuff like that. So what I'm trying to get at here is that it's not only about questing and missions and dungeons. There's dynamic events that you can go to and see and join in and participate and get XP and gear from it. So that's a really awesome feature about it. It really brings a more adventurous side to the game, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, the next thing I'm going to mention is dungeons. So they haven't really showed too much gameplay about dungeons, so we don't know too much, but I do know that there's going to be kind of two types of dungeons, and these are kind of the story mode and the explorable mode. In the story mode, you kind of go into like a plot, and as I said, that this game definitely does have a plot. You go into a plot where it kind of explains more about, Guild Wars, what's going on there, the dragons and stuff like that. I sound like such a nerd saying this, but yeah, and explains about the storyline, and that'll be really fun. But in the explorable mode, it's more just about kind of strategic options, just attacking. It doesn't really focus on story mode. So two different types of dungeons you can play with, and that'll be really awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to that. So the final thing I'm going to talk about is PvP. Now, I was never a huge fan of PvP in any MMO because I'm just not that type of guy, but the PvP in Guild Wars 2 looks very promising. I'm definitely excited for it because, you can choose between making a PvP character and a PvE character. So you don't have to only, you don't have to gear your PvE character for your PvP. I'm pretty sure if you're a PvP character, you'll automatically be level 80, but you won't be able to do the PvE things. Might sound a little confusing, but I'm definitely looking forward to the PvP aspect of it, and I'm sure that'll bring a whole new component to the game that, it's going to be played a lot because, it is Guild Wars, it's about guilds, so I'm pretty sure guilds are going to have quite a big part in this game, guild versus guild, so definitely looking forward to that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Hope I persuaded you guys to hopefully, want to buy this game because it definitely looks like an amazing game. That's pretty much it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give a like if you could. It took me a little while to, research all this stuff, and the gameplay in the background is just some Guild Wars 2, as I said. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys later.